Hey everyone. I know that the fly that I'm going to be showing you here is one that I've tied up many times in the past, whether you saw it on social media or through one of my YouTube videos. But the thing that you got to realize is I wouldn't be doing this same fly over and over if it didn't work. I mean, I've been using this type of a streamer um, for many, many years. I also have a fly that I call a streaper, and I will be getting into that sometime in the very near future. So uh, my two main flies typically are the one that I'm going to show you here, um, and uh, that is actually a very easy streamer to tie. And what I'm going to do is hopefully show you how you can do it as well. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is use a tool that I made, and that's a brush table. And one of the things about this brush table that makes it so unique is it just folds down out of the way. I mean, completely out of the way. And then when you're ready to use it, you just bring it up. And I've had a few people that's been kind of concerned about the size of the table. Okay. So this table is 3 inches by 4 inches, and you might think, well, you can't get a big brush out of that. So what I want to explain to you is with this table is the advantages is it's here all the time where you can take it and swing it completely out of the way and be able to do everything else right around the table because it's just not in the way. And then you can bring it up just like that and you're in business. And then people say, well, what about the length of the brush? I want my brushes to be 6 or 8 inches long. And I'm like, well, that's fine. But the thing is, on a 6 or 8 inch brush, typically you're going to be using only about a quarter to a third of the material. If you're on a standard like like I have here, a Gamakatsu B10S, these are actually size 2. I should know that. They're the largest ones that I have in my rack here of hooks. I do have them goes down to 2/0, and they're for smallmouth. I typically fish just for smallmouth. So, but these flies are also good. I've been told by some of my friends that's fished with me that go after trout that these flies would be really good for them too. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this. Okay, we already talked about it. We got a B10S hook in here. Okay, and we're going to use on this particular fly. Let me see here. On this particular fly, I used Bonnie Cord, and I do make that, and it will be, if it's not already, on my Etsy store where you can order the stuff, and it comes in sticks. Well, there's one that's partly used. It comes in sticks just about like this, okay? And then that way I kind of like it because you can determine how much you want to use, and you can kind of push out what you need. And what's really nice about this way is you can keep your materials very, very manageable. It's very manageable. If you work with this stuff, you'll understand that most of the time this stuff will go all over the place. So I'm probably going to use a big portion of this on this fly. So one of the easiest ways to work with this stuff here is I made this. I took this chip brush. This is I think a 3.5, 4 inch or something like that, and I put the EVA foam on it so that you can actually hold the material, your cord, whether you're using Bonnie cord or EP fibers, so that you can brush it out real nice and even, because this right here is the secret, really, to getting a good even brush that doesn't really knot back up on itself. So we'll go ahead and do this again. And now I got that side brushed out. Now any knots that might be in here, we're going to brush those out. And you can see that makes a really nice looking length of material. Okay, we got that. Now we're going to go ahead and run our thread across the table. and we're going to go ahead and pick up our material and lay it down on top of the table. And I'm going to actually, the back side of the hook is what's going to get wrapped first, and then you got the front side of this material that'll get, as it wraps back, the fibers will get shorter towards the back. All right, and what that does is it builds the bulk up still enough to where you got a little bit of bulk here, and this part of the fibers is going to be backed and layered inside the longer part of the fiber. And what that does is it gives you that awesome teardrop shape off the tail of the fly. Anyway, this is the way you do this. This table is so convenient, and you can control this stuff so well. And as you can see here, that right there is going to make a really nice brush. And the material, I see so many people that lay down way too much material. They just lay down way too much material. It doesn't matter if you use this brush table or if you use any other brush table. This is the way you want it to go. And the reason for that is when you'll see when I do the spinning of this brush, all this material, the thread in here is going to shrink up, and it's going to bring all those fibers closer together. And the closer together they get, the more that you're going to have as you palmer this material all the way around. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and get it spun up. And that's all you have to do right there. It doesn't take much. And that looks like a rat's nest, really. Okay, so that's easy to take care of. You just brush it out. And what you're wanting to do is brush it out in such a way that you're almost right back down to the threads again on your the twist. And what's really nice is this stuff lays down really good. Okay, so one of the things I do as well is I use some hackle pliers, some quality, good gripping hackle pliers, and then I'll run this material back like so. And I don't think you can see it in the photograph, but as it goes back, the materials as you go up get shorter, and the stuff down at the bottom here is longer. It's just one of the benefits from having this table. And if this is not enough for you, you can just come back and wrap in some more. So let's go ahead and run this thread so we can control where we want the tail to start. And got it brushed back, and then we'll go ahead and start palmering the stuff on just like that. And this stuff works like magic. It really does. And if you keep all your materials from falling on top of itself, it just makes it so much easier when it comes time to brush it out. Okay, just make sure that you can try to see this thread line in there. The better you can see the thread line, the more even the materials are laying down. Okay, just try to make sure that, again, you're not laying down on top of the previous wrap. So there you go. This is probably going to be a little longer video than I would like for it to be, but I think it's important that you see and hear me talk about why I do what I do with these things. I mean, it's just part of it. Okay, so we're going to get this thing around to there. Now, one of the things I'm going to want to do is kind of dress this up and get this material so that I can back my thread up and then come back around like so and lock it in place. And then that way I can cut it out.
As I lay my head down to rest, to find peace in the quiet night. Dreams of rivers and fish await, chasing smallmouth in the moonlight. Casting out all my cares with each ripple in my heart flares. To catch smallmouth with a rod bends, the sweet memory that never ends. With a smile that lights up my face, In this world I found my place. Pulling up to that special spot, the evening sun paints the scene. With the laughter of water and air, I know I'll live this dream with glee. The reeling in hopes and delight, this is my moment, shining bright. To catch smallmouth where the rod bends, the sweet memory that never ends. With a smile that lights up my face, in this world I found my place. To catch smallmouth where the rod bends, a sweet memory that never ends. With a smile that lights up my face, in this world I found my place. Pulling up to the dreams that come true, to the smallmouth and the journey anew. As I lay my head down to rest, to find peace in the quiet night. Dreams of rivers and fish await, chasing smallmouth in the moonlight. Casting out all my cares with each ripple in my heart flares. To catch smallmouth where the rod bends, the sweet memory that never ends. With a smile that lights up my face, in this world I found my place. Pulling up to that special spot, the evening sun paints the scene. With the laughter of water and air, I know I'll live this dream with glee. The reeling in hopes and delight, this is my moment, shining bright. To catch smallmouth where the rod bends, the sweet memory that never ends. With a smile that lights up my face, in this world I found my place. To catch smallmouth where the rod bends, a sweet memory that never ends. With a smile that lights up my face, in this world I found my place. Pulling up to the dreams that come true, to the smallmouth and the journey anew.
That actually looks like it may be too much, but that's not a problem. Bonnie Cord is cheap. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do this. So far, so good on that red in there. Okay. I guess I don't want to really go too many times here. And now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pull up until we have our little V inside there to bring our thread through, just like that. Okay. And pull it back and wrap it on. Just like that. Cut off. Just like that. And let's do the same thing. We'll pull this out and then brush it back. Ouch. B10S hooks are sharp. I guarantee it. Okay, that actually isn't too bad. You can kind of see that red back in there. That should still be on there when we put the eyes on. So let's go ahead and tie off this bad boy, just like that. And cut it down. And that actually is really already just a really nice looking fly. Oh, there's more. Okay, so what we're going to do now, even though I said there's not a lot of trimming, there kind of is a little bit of trimming. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to do this. is I'll pull a little bit out of the belly there, and then I've got some curved scissors, all right, that I will take and cut this part off here, and by just grabbing it back here and going around, you can see that that keeps that nice little shape of the belly in there, okay? And then I might do the same thing on the top, but not much, because we really already have our shape that we want there. All right, so what I'm going to do is just hit it here. Okay, just like that. And now we're going to go ahead and do something else that I will do occasionally if I want to try and trim this fly down to where it still has this teardrop shape from the profile view, but to actually have a more flat shape across the top where this hump here and on both sides kind of disappears. And the way I do that is you hold your streamer down. It might be better to take a pair of hemostats. I've got these little ones here, and grab the eye of the hook like that. Now just take your brush and brush it back, and do the same thing. If you can grab it and flip it over and do the same thing right there. Now that is a nice looking shape already, but to take that bulk off the sides, what I'm going to do is use these things right here. These are just clippers, real cheap set of clippers. I don't know where I got them. I got them at Ollie's or off Amazon or something. I think they might have been $10 or $15. But what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to run it with these scissors, grabbing the eye of the hook, holding it down so that we get a perfectly flat side every time. We're going to take these clippers and go down the edge like that, the side. A couple times, and then flip it over and do the same thing. Just grab it and just pull it back, just like that. Okay. So, and then you can take your brush and brush it out, and we'll show you what we end up with here. So now you can see that we maintained our teardrop shape on the sides, but bring a little bit of that material from the other side so it's nice and even. And now what we can do is take this, and I can show you down through the middle here. As you can see, that fly is now more streamlined along the length on the sides. That gives you a really nice bait fish shape that has a really nice taper to it. And once it gets wet, that taper will just bunch together and you're good to go. So let's go ahead and stick this back in here. And something I don't normally actually do all the time, I do a lot of the times, is putting eyes on my flies. But we'll go ahead and stick a pair of eyes on this one here. These here are pretty darn close to 1/4 inch. Okay, so let's pull those off of here and one off and see what it looks like. I'm going to put it on this side that you see the best and put it on there. Okay, there we go. You can actually, you can't see it with the video, but you can actually still see a little bit of that red right behind the eye, which kind of would replicate gills, I suppose. So I think I am going to go with the 1/4 inch and not the 3/16 eye, and stick one on the other side. And then we'll go ahead and hit that with some UV. There we go. Just like that. And one of the things that I do is I have a tethered UV light that has, you know, the USB power cable to it, and I've had this thing for a couple of years now, and it doesn't you don't have to worry about batteries, and you got plenty of power. Let's go ahead and lay down some UV on here. The only problem with UV I'm using is it is a cheap China UV resin. So if you want to spend some money on other ones, more expensive glues, you can obviously do that if you want to. I'm not representing anything company. I'm difference on the logo that I can still end up with a decent product that I'm trying to make myself. Okay, so keep on this stuff, whether it's good stuff or cheap stuff, you're really better off to build your head up a little bit at a time. You don't control the resin that way. Okay, well, there you go for that. And then one of the other things that I do occasionally that I don't do all the time, again, is I will airbrush using a Sharpie. I got this clip that I made to be able to grab my flies and grab them and put them on like so, just pretty much down the middle there. And then what I'll do is I will airbrush a black Sharpie across the top there. Okay, so all we need to do is just go straight down the top. This kind of helps me keep things in place. And if I keep it on top like this, the top will get a good dark line, and the sides will kind of feather down to the side there. Okay, I'll show you. That's pretty much all you need to do with that. Then if the red doesn't show through, which I'm not too sure if that was a great job on the thread, although it actually does show through there pretty good. I think I might leave it like that, but if you wanted to, you can take a red Sharpie and kind of hit it again right there if you want, just like that, to get more of your red in. That is one awesome fly right there to chase smallmouth with, especially this time of year. It's tomorrow's April 1st, and the creeks are in really good shape. They're up a little bit, but they're like very clear. I got that greenish tint to them, which is like perfect. I don't know if I'm going to go tomorrow or not, but I might. One of the other things that I'm wanting to do is to show you guys the tapered furled leaders that I use. I mean, everybody can say, well, they're your leaders. That's why you talk them up the way you do. Well, I'm the only one that builds the tapered furled leaders with 5 full sections that taper down much more evenly, and then that way that you can you're going to be able to get a better turnover with the leaders that way, and that is the biggest selling point for the ones I have. If you don't believe me, go to my Etsy store and read the reviews on it. Everyone that's ever bought them have raving reviews. I've had a lot of people buy them and don't buy them off of Etsy. They'll buy them from me, directly, or they bought them from me at the Cincinnati Fly Fishing Show, and they absolutely love them. And so I guarantee you will too. Anyway, this is Mike. Till the next video, we'll catch you later.